Thank you so much. Just the speech before me, thank you so much for your, I think, passion to make sure that the things that we watch, that we read, are truthful, are accurate, and that we're discerning in receiving them. I have been in the music world for many years. I've been a composer and a playwright. I've written Broadway-style musicals. And I think in that arena, we have been inundated with darkness for a long time. And we need people to step up and actually speak into that space and affect the culture where people are. This younger generation is very easily influenced by what they watch, whether it's on their phones or whether it's in the theater. And so a few years ago, I felt led to start writing content for live stage production. So in the last 5 years, I've written 4 different Broadway-style musicals and produced them and licensed them across the country. They're faith-infused. They have timeless lessons in them. But the one that I've been working on recently that Albert wanted me to share about is called Washington's Ring of Spies. And we're hoping to premiere it this year in September, August, somewhere in there. We have dates reserved at the Trump Kennedy Center, but we're also looking for other places. But this is called Washington's Ring of Spies, and it has a Jewish element to it that I wanted to share with you. So in doing the research with the Library of Congress and the David Barton Library and the Three Villages Historical Society on Long Island, I found the most incredible stories about people from all walks of life, all races, denominations, faith practices. And one of them that sticks out that is part of the story, I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but his name is Haim Salomon. He was one of the most incredible American patriots I've ever studied in my life. And what happened during the Revolution was that Haim Salomon arrived in New York right before the Revolution, and he had been all over Europe looking for a place where he could actually practice his faith freely and have freedom. He finally came to the shores of America and landed in New York. He was a genius in business and finance. And the British took over New York during the Revolution. Haim was a part of the Sons of Liberty in New York. And he started spying on the British for the Americans. And he was imprisoned by the British. And he talked his way out of it by saying, hey, I speak 6 different languages and you guys can't speak to your Hessian hires, so let me interpret for you. And so he was interpreting for the British, but the problem was the Hessians started defecting. And come to find out, Haim Salomon was not translating properly. So they imprisoned him again, and he escaped with the help of the Sons of Liberty. And he went to Philadelphia, and he went to George Washington, and he said, how can I help you? And George Washington said, sir, we need money. Congress doesn't have any money. So Haim got to work. He was in finance, he was in business, and he started contributing himself to the cause and actually funding George Washington along with Robert Morris and others, helping him with his troops. Washington was intent on taking New York back. But at the end of the war, he realized that strategically it wasn't going to happen. So he turns his focus to Yorktown. But the problem was he didn't have money to move his troops to Yorktown. And who did he call? There's a letter that George Washington wrote that said, send me Haim Salomon. And Haim Salomon came and he said, how can I help? George Washington says, I need $20,000 to move my troops to Yorktown. Can you help me? And Haim said, give me a couple days. So he worked on it. He brought him $20,000 and George Washington was able to take his troops down to Yorktown, and the rest is history. But speaking of the culture, I think we need to educate ourselves and the next generation in unique ways, and we need to meet them in the spaces where they are. And there's a lot of things that are happening, whether it's Broadway or in the theater world or whatever, that are very, very dark. I think it's time to shine the light in there. And so I've been working on this for the last 3 years, and we're hoping to premiere it this year for the 250th anniversary. And there's many colorful characters in this story of the Culper spying, how they outspied the British and sacrificed their lives. And the most beautiful thing about it is they went to their graves and never told anyone what they did. It's a very American thing to do. to do the right thing for the right reason and not expect anything in return except for just to live in freedom, to follow your conscience. So pray with us for this project. We're still in fundraising mode. That God has brought some funders along, but we still need more if you're interested in that. But we are trying to speak into the culture and change the culture with truth, with facts, with heroes that we can look up to and that we can relate to. And so thank you so much, and God bless.